Welcome back to the Baschamania podcast. I'm your host, Justin Basch. Unfortunately, no co-host CENZO today, guys. He is in moving hell as he gets ready to move out to California, so he'll be back, but I wanted to give him the time to deal with moving. It's truly one of the worst things out there. If you've moved recently, you empathize with that. My wife and I just built our house and moved. It was such a headache. So I told CENZO, just chill, move, get your stuff taken care of. I'll handle the show today. We do have a very exciting guest, so I'm super, super excited for today's conversation. And the show goes on. CENZO will be back. I want him to make sure he's dealing with moving. It can be very stressful. So before we dive in, this episode is brought to you by Attack. Attack is quickly becoming a wrestling community favorite as, in my opinion, an app that allows you to play, compete, and grow as a wrestler. There's truly nothing like it. Nutrition, fitness, mentality, all the aspects you need to grow in one great app. And one of the most beautiful things about the app to me is that they aren't stopping. They're not slowing down. The updates, the enhancements, the quality, it just continues to get better. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and download the app. It's Attack, A-T-A-C. It's in the Apple App Store today. Follow them on social media as well, attack.app. That's ATAC.app. Tweet at me. Let me know what you think of the app. I'm curious. I love the app. So feel free to tweet us, tweet Attack, send feedback. The more the merrier. So on today's show, NCAA champion, three-time NCAA champion, Spencer Lee is back on the show. If you're new around here, I say back because Spencer was a very early guest back in October 2019. He was episode 13. Shout out Spencer for being a part of it from the early days. 113 episodes later, he's back, and we're going to dive into NCAAs, his injury, Olympic trials, NIL, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's bring Spencer on. Apologies in advance for how nasally I sound. My allergies are just killing me. I'm just thankful I'm not sneezing right now. So with that said, let's get Spencer on, who added another national championship since the last time. Dude, I was looking at the time you were on here last, October 2019.
Oh, really?
It's been a while, man.
2 years, yeah, almost.
Yeah. And it's been a wild couple of years since you've been on. So I guess we'll back up and talk. I want to talk about NIL and that, and I want to talk about the season a little bit. So we'll back up to the season because I've talked to you about it since. What was this season like? I've heard it's been so taxing with the uncertainty of not knowing when competitions were or the excessive testing. Like, what was the season like for you?
I mean, it's just routine. You're told to do something, be somewhere, so you had to be there, and it was every day. I mean, we tested at 7 or I think it was 8 a.m. every day. So then you had 8 a.m. testing every day. After you tested, you went down and worked out, then class, then you had workout again, kind of every day.
The nostril test?
So once a week we'd have the one where they do it,
yeah,
and then every other day would be our own test. So
I've yet to have a COVID test, just an FYI. I don't know if I'm just like, I don't do enough that I don't know. I've just, because I work from home and I haven't needed to go anywhere, I've never had a COVID test, thank God. But I've heard that was taxing. Do you think, it didn't look on the surface like it had much effect, like your performance throughout the year? We'll talk about the NCAA tournament kind of separately, but your performance through the year was like you were on your own level, like just tech after tech. And you have that look like if somebody scores a point on you, you're upset. Like you could tell during the Dylan Ragusin match at Big Tens. I think you won 19-4. And you weren't happy about that because it wasn't 15-0. Like this whole season kind of being so separated from everybody. Did you feel like that? Like you're kind of in a league of your own?
I just want to go out there and wrestle my match each and out. I just want to score points, keep scoring points, score hard, score fast, keep scoring. That's kind of our motto here at Iowa. So, I don't want to get scored on by anybody. It just knows that I kind of know that, like, if I'm getting scored on, it means I kind of messed up somewhere or I wasn't, wasn't as focused somewhere or something. I'm not saying someone couldn't score on me regardless, but that's just kind of how my mind works. So, he scored on me because I was like hanging on his head and he like threw me by and I was winning by like 6 or like 13 or by that point I think I like put him to his back or something, got 6 or something. I got the tech, but
Yeah, it was amazing because so many people are like in awe that like when somebody scores a couple points on you, you've established yourself as so dominant that people are like, wow, that guy's good. He just got a couple points on Spencer. Like, did you feel that? Or are you just so in that zone of like, I just want to tech everybody, not allow any points, and you don't really think about that too much?
Well, it's always been that way. Like it's scored on since I was in 8th grade. Guy must be good, you know. Oh, there's always a narrative around me like that, so there's nothing new. You know, I've always been hard on myself, always been a perfectionist, always trying to score a lot of points every match. You know, guys, they want to win too, so you gotta be respectful. Respect all, fear none, and not care about what they do and focus on what you do and just try and score points for the whole 7 minutes and then more if needed. So that's just kind of how we are.
Yep, it makes sense. And, after Big Tens, you had that injury that nobody knew about. And, I mean, I think you got a tech and then 3 majors and then a decision. And to people watching, at least to me, it wasn't like, oh, Spencer's doing any less than he normally does. It's the NCAA tournament. It's tough. The fact that you're still teching and majoring everyone but one finals match, nobody thought too much of it. But for you, like, I know you decently enough to know that, like, you're more introverted and you don't let out to emotion. But after the NCAA finals, you had that, like, amazing 2.5-minute interview with ESPN where, T-shirts obviously went on sale right after for no excuses for wussies. But, like, what was your perspective going into the NCAA tournament when you had that torn ACL that nobody even knew about?
I mean, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't wrestle at all leading up to that NCAA tournament. I don't even know if I could have. I didn't know. Everything was kind of like trial run, test error, see how you do. First time I wrestled was 5 minutes before my first match, and I hit like 3 shots. So that was it. Wore a big old brace on my left knee for the first time. I was always wearing a brace on my right knee. So my right knee, we taped it, and then I just said, let's see what's going to happen. And I went and wrestled. So.
And did it mentally, you're a guy who, you remind me of Yanni very much, where you guys are high analytical people. You're very much, you're thinking constantly. Did it affect your thinking much before? Like the unknown of you have a game plan, you're used to going out, doing what you know. And for this, there was so much uncertainty because you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. My ACL's torn.
I mean, I was just trying to win every match. That was it. Just go out there, score points, and just advance. It's an NCAA tournament. You're injured to an extent where, I don't know how many people could have competed in my situation.
Not many.
So I didn't care. I didn't care if I got scored on. I didn't care if the guy, I had one kid in the national tournament who took me down twice in like the last period, and right in the middle he called me for stalling like this. And I remember looking at the scoreboard and it was like 15-4, and I was like, what are you calling me stalling for?
Right.
I was like, you don't even know that I'm like 20%. I was like, and you're getting majored by me. Like I could have teched you if I got that last takedown. And I'm at 25% max,
Yeah.
And so I was laughing. I'm like, have fun in losers bracket, man.
I don't remember exactly who it was, but I vaguely remember that.
Oh, I could tell you, but I'm not going to give him a name. So
yeah, that's fine. That's fair. But I remember that, like, it's so funny because, again, people pay attention to your matches so much, and not knowing before each match going through that tournament, what were you thinking as far as, like, was it just one more match, go out and win, which is kind of like your mentality normally for a tournament?
Yeah, I mean, nothing changed really, but I just couldn't do things that I normally could. I couldn't warm up properly. I can't run. So it was like, all right, let's just see what happens. Spencer, like Terry would be like, all right, wrestle hard, stay safe, and just, get on top and go to work, because like, I knew that I was fine on top, but on my feet, it was a little different. Couldn't really shoot, couldn't scramble. I'm like, I got out scrambled by a couple guys at the tournament. And usually if we get to a scramble, I probably won 95% of the scrambles in my college career.
Yeah.
And I'm getting beat like consistently in scrambles because I can't swivel my feet or go, my butt couldn't touch my heels or, things like that, where like I couldn't move my toe. They would just grab my toe and my knee would like give out and I'd fall over, It was like, I'm getting taken. I'm looking around. I like all of a sudden, next thing you know, I'm on my face. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? I don't even know how I got taken down.
Was it like a challenge to you? Like, I I feel bad if your opponents are listening to this, but it's almost like you're so good. It's like a challenge to say, okay, now let me win this thing with no ACLs.
My teammates said that too. They're like, you're just giving them a handicap or
right?
something. And that made me laugh.
Afterwards, that's almost what it seemed like. Like, did it feel like a challenge of sorts? Like, oh, let me see if I can do it like this. Like, obviously, you didn't plan on that happening.
No, not a challenge at all. I didn't care. I didn't even want to tell anybody. I mean, my plan was to say nothing. Have it in my heart. My teammates knew what I did. My dad wanted me to tell everyone in the world, just because, like I always say, people sometimes don't understand what athletes do for fans and for fan bases and universities and whatnot, and even the pro level and whatnot. Obviously, I'm not going to be a pro, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, athletes, they do things for themselves and for people that they care about and for their fan base that people don't really understand sometimes. They kind of just see that, like people have been like, wow, Spencer looked really bad at the NCAA tournament. Might have been something people might have said, right? He was getting scored on left and right. He didn't tech or pin everybody or whatever. What's going on with him? I don't know what people are going to say. I don't really care, because all I cared about was myself and being healthy and wrestling hard. But at the same time, I wouldn't see it as a challenge. They want to win too. Does it matter that I'm hurt? Maybe they were all hurt. Maybe every single one of them had taped up, beat up things that they're hiding underneath their, maybe they have broken ankles or something. Who knows? I mean, you don't care. It's not something that like anyone should really care about. But yeah, was I healthy? No. I mean, I wrestled. I would have gone to the trials if I was healthy. The only thing I actually care about is the Olympic trials, whether I make the team or not. I remember telling my coaches, just let me try. If I lose, I lose. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, I went out there and give it my all, but like, they were afraid that, my legs were kind of messed up after NCAAs. I was in a lot of pain, a lot of, they were afraid I was going to hurt more things if I wrestled at Olympic trials. So the best thing for me was to not compete. That was a terrible decision. Like, worst decision of my life, as in not like it was a terrible decision, as in like for me, like it was like heartbreaking, like whether or not I would have won or not, who knows? I mean,
what went into that? Like after the ESPN interview, I remember my wife and I were watching it in a hotel in Miami, and I'll never forget like looking over and like, holy crap, like Spencer just did have no ACLs. My second thought was, oh my gosh, I wonder if he's going to be able to make it to the Olympic trials. Like, how long was that process for you where you were like still maybe holding out hope that you can make it to the trials?
I mean, we waited like 3 or 4 days. So.
And what was that? Just a collective, like talking to coaches, talking to family, and just saying.
Just talking to doctors mostly. Obviously, they were like, you're insane. If you want to compete, you should get surgery right now.
Nothing new, but
yeah. And I was like, okay, I've been hearing that for years, but I was like, screw it, let's just wrestle. And then at the end of the day, I was like, I don't know if I could wrestle even at 20% right now. I was like, am I that good? I don't know. Can't really say for certain. Can't say I am that good. That's not something that I really think about. But is it right for me to go out and kind of disrespect the Olympics, Olympic Games, Olympic trials, and saying that I could win it even if I wasn't healthy? Sure. I don't know. So while the risk in getting hurt, not even being able to train leading up to the trials, no brace on either of my knees, so taping every match, quick turnarounds, definitely better.
You can't wear a brace at the trials?
No, not really. I wouldn't suggest wearing one. No. So
after the Olympic trials, or after you decided not to, was there surgeries? Was there anything that were like, okay, now that I'm not gonna compete, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z?
It was just day by day. So we're still taking it day by day, and we're figuring out. That's about it, really.
Do you know when you're coming back as of now, or no?
No. Like I said, it's day by day. I'll let you know when you'll know when I know.
I'm excited to know. I know everybody was bummed. Obviously, everybody wants you to heal up and get back on the mat ASAP. Changing gears kind of a little bit, this NIL stuff kind of took off, and it seemed like it happened out of nowhere. It seemed like it was going to be a thing where it was kind of a couple years out, and then all of a sudden it was everybody starting tomorrow can start benefiting off their name, image, and likeness. And it's been cool as a marketing and business guy to watch what different athletes do. And I know you're someone who, I love your approach, because I tweeted out the other day, like, stop saying my DMs are open for business. I get it. I get why people are doing it. But, like, if you have an audience and you're somebody who can bring value to somebody, companies are seeing that, and they probably already are wanting to work with you.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things you can do offline, which it seems like you did. What went into you starting to capitalize on revenue once this went into effect?
Well, I mean, I was reached out by a lot of people, so I just kind of sent all of them towards my dad, who kind of worked with it. He took a day off work and called all those people back, figured things out. We're still figuring things out.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that I've done already were people who reached out to me, and I did one with like a gear thing. It was kind of like a test run, kind of see maybe what people think about it. So everyone wants a shirt, of course, with my quote on it and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're obviously working on stuff like that. The other one, Cameo, I wouldn't have never done Cameo if someone from Cameo called me. So I was like, sure, I'll just see what it's about.
Have you done many cameos?
So the first day after like 7 hours, I had like 35 or something. So
Dang.
I had to do kind of a lot. So
did you just sit there banging them out one by one?
I mean, that's kind of what I was doing.
What was the strangest one?
Someone had me I had to say something about his business, and that all of his family and friends should go to his business and then refer his business to everyone else. I thought that was kind of funny.
I think they've actually started a new aspect of Cameo for businesses where you can hire people, because that's what people are doing. They're doing a Cameo, but they're using it for a business endorsement. And Cameo is saying, hey, you got to pay more for that because they're endorsing your business, you're profiting, all that. For the T-shirts, I love the design. I thought it was a cool shirt. And I know how you are. The last time you came on the podcast, you even said you're somebody who you want that more Snyder approach where you're not day in, day out nitty gritty with brand building and deals, but you're benefiting properly from your name and image. When you start doing some of these things like T-shirt sales, are you paying attention to how many sell or anything like that?
I mean, I was just kind of curious because it was a limited thing, so they only had a limited amount of stuff. So they sold out on certain the T-shirt, not the sweatshirt or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see, figure it out, feel it out. I didn't really care about money or anything. Just kind of building your brand, kind of trying to be an ambassador of your sport, trying to build wrestling. The Barstool thing was cool. Getting followed by Dave Portnoy was cool because he's kind of a big deal in the sports world. So stuff like that was pretty cool. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not trying to avidly money. That's not how I am.
Well, I don't think you've posted the T-shirts again. I think you just posted it one time and said swipe up if you're interested, and that was that. I don't think I've seen anything else.
Well, it's already over. It was a 3-day thing. It's done.
Okay.
Can't buy it anymore. And I would, that's just not how I am. I don't want my Instagram or my Twitter to be just straight promotions. That's not who I am. That's not what I believe in. That's not my brand. Me, I post once a month, and I force myself to on social media. So why I start posting 100,000 times, and every one of them is just about, hey, buy this, swipe up this, use my code this. I don't care. I'm not desperate for money. I'm just trying to win World Olympic and NCAA titles and be the best person and wrestler, family member, and whatever I can be as I could be. And I don't want my image to be kind of run to the ground because I'm trying to make money.
If you try to squeeze everything so quick, I think a lot of wrestlers are going to take brand deals that, if you squeeze the cash cow so quick right now, the important brands that maybe want to work with you in a year, 2 years, if they look back and see that you'll just whore out your image, they're not going to have that value to it. So I think it's the right approach. As far as the Barstool thing, I love Barstool and Portnoy. How, have you heard any details on it? Because it seemed like they were kind of shooting from the hip with just signing all these athletes and kind of figuring it out as they go right now.
Well, it's not even signing because the application was literally your address, your shirt size, right? So you're not really applying for anything. But it's cool because it's publicity. They're just kind of giving athletes, people who don't there was the first girl that he endorsed went from 5,000 followers to 105,000 followers in a day. Her life's over. It's changed. She's able to make brand, maybe she'll even be more popular as an athlete that fast just from him doing something like that. So I think that's kind of the cool part about it. That's probably the coolest part about it. I mean, he's obviously trying to get things done with if within his own company or whatever with us as well, trying to help us out. But there's rules for endorsements with people who have betting books and stuff. So they're just trying to be safe, not make anyone lose eligibility, that kind of thing. It's whatever. It's cool. So
I think it's really cool. I had some people DM me like, what do you think about this? Like, how is Barstool signing everybody? I'm like, they're not like signing people like it's, hey, you're going to get X amount of money. I think it's mutually beneficial. Barstool's a huge sports company. And like I don't think anybody got tweeted by Dave until like, let's say afternoon time. And all of a sudden it was you and Gable within an hour. I'm like, that's super cool. This guy's got
Absolutely.
1 million followers on Twitter and he's putting you out there. And then other Barstool personalities who have large audiences, Robbie over there, who's their big MMA guy, he said he wants to do something with everybody. I think KB No Swag, who is like, I don't know if he's seriously calling
Kyle,
you out, but he's putting it
good.
out there. So yeah, it's super cool to see, if nothing else, the publicity. Like, it's really cool to just see guys like you and Gable and Roman and others that have such talent and have such brands to now be kind of given a reason to be put on that spotlight and that stage by ESPN, Barstool, companies that historically don't say much because it's simply about ratings. Can you bring me ratings? Can you bring me viewers? But it was super cool to see that. The other thing that I think there's a lot of misconceptions about out there is, I love your approach with you saying, like, I don't really care about the money. I think a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of commentary on, every wrestler thinks he's going to get rich. No, I don't think a lot of wrestlers think that. I think you're going to see some wrestlers be able to just make some money. And I think other wrestlers, let's say you, for example, this isn't just about being able to make more money. It's being able to about building your brand more and starting to build your brand earlier, because initially you're another year out minimum from being able to do anything. Now you can start growing your brand more. Like you just said, the publicity from Portnoy, that helps. The publicity from Barstool, that helps. Even if not just the monetary gains, the brand publicity gains, I think you college athletes get to benefit from a lot right now.
I think it's more beneficial than them giving us any kind of money, really.
I agree. And when we were texting the other day, you had mentioned the gaming world too. Like, are you excited to start doing stuff in the gaming world, like outside of the wrestling world?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's an opportunity that I could pursue, and something it's like my my pleasure. That I do outside of wrestling. So there are things I could do, like the headphones I have on. Like, they follow me on Twitter for some God knows reason for years, right? So I could potentially message them. Maybe they would give me free headphones, things like that. Like, things that are cool. That stuff's cool. So it's definitely like interesting. Obviously I'm talking to people, trying to build my brand, that kind of stuff. So it's been cool. It's been humbling having so many people reach out to me and have an interest even in just talking to me about things or trying to help me or whatnot. So definitely something that I that's been really cool. So
yeah, it seems it. And I think I said earlier, you're more introverted, as am I, but I know you when you get excited about things, and it seems like you're excited about things happening, things in the works. Are you working on things still behind the scenes that people haven't seen yet?
Oh, of course. I haven't done anything yet, so wait and see, I guess.
I love that. I think over these next couple of months, I think a lot of people think this is just going to fade out real quick. I don't. Yeah. I think people are just taking time, as they should. Somebody said to Yanni, like, why don't you have a deal yet with this? It takes time to partner with the right people, to see what you want to do, to have people look at contracts, to do those things. I think it's a great thing. And I think especially in this off season right now, we'll call it the off season. Wrestling doesn't really have much of an off season, but it gives you something to focus on, to do, without allowing it to be a distraction at all.
Well, that's the point. That's why I'm trying to, maybe find someone to help me with that. Figure out everything for me, make me so I can just focus on what I want to do, and that's just getting better, trying to be the best wrestler I can be every single day out. I'm not trying to do little things all the time. I'd rather just have a couple things that I'm dedicated to and that I put my time into when time's allotted and time's capable of being, helpful or not a hindrance, and just do that, be done. You're better off trying to win, honestly. Like, I had someone talking to me, telling me that if you weren't as successful as you were, they wouldn't be talking to you. That's just how it happens. So if you want to make money off NIL and whatever, just win. Just go out there and keep winning. And that's just the end of the day. That's end all be all. They're not going to sign someone who, maybe never starts at anything, any sport, right?
Yeah.
Maybe unless you're like famous for some other odd reason, but that's just
but
how this
even
works.
then, you've won something, even if it's just creating a ton of content, regardless of what it is, to build an audience is what this is all about. If you're an NCAA champ with 200 followers, nobody's going to endorse you because you can't really bring much value to them. So this is very much about being authentic, building an audience, and being able to bring value to a company. And I think it's humbling for a lot of people because as good as the wrestlers they might not be as valuable to another company as they think they are. So I think this is a good learning lesson for those people to see how they can bring value, what they can do. So I love that aspect of it. I also love the fact of the non-wrestling, to see how these intersect. If you had a dream company to work with, do you have one? I saw people tweeting Nintendo and Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw people tweeting Nintendo and Pokemon. If you don't make a deal with this kid, you're out of your mind. So I hope something like that happens. That'd be pretty dang cool. That would be cool. Well, Spencer, that's pretty much all I have for you. Any other words? If people are interested that are listening to this and reaching out to you about a deal, how can they get a hold of you? What's the best thing they should do?
As of right now, I guess you could just DM me, but in the future, I'll have a business email and whatnot, probably in my bio or something, and reach out to that. So
sweet. And the shirts are gone. Nobody can get the Spencer Lee Stan shirt. Those are gone. You already missed those. So if you're hearing about those now, you're too late. But there's more things in the works. I'm sure more merchandise is coming out. So that's going to be cool. If you're not already following Spencer on social, I don't know what you're doing. I'm sure most of you do. So Spencer, thank you for taking a few minutes. I wish you well in your recovery. If you feel like making a comeback announcement on this podcast, you can. This platform's yours, but most importantly, just heal up, and I can't wait to see you back out on the mat, man.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for talking to me.
Awesome, man. Have a good night.
You too, man.
And that is Spencer Lee, a man of few words, but somebody I always enjoy talking to. One day we will get an hour episode out of him, but I'm grateful for his time. I'm grateful to hear kind of his perspective, and me and him text and tweet and DM each other. And I'm grateful to kind of bring some of those conversations to you guys, because I know I find it interesting, so I'm sure there's a lot of you that find it interesting too. So real quick, a couple other things. Guys, summer is coming. Are you ready to unveil your beach bod? Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped, our go-to for men's full-body grooming products. You guys know we tout this. Manscaped. From the legends who introduced the greatest electric grooming trimmer ever, Manscaped is now introducing the Ultra Smooth Package. You can see this package here. I think it's pretty cool. Just tell my wife how much I love it. It's a razor and formulation kit designed for the brave men and women out there who like to go to the skin when they groom and trim. Men, there's nothing worse than ingrown hairs when you go to the skin, especially when it's summer bod season. It's time to get ready for hot guy summer. I can't participate in hot guy summer, but I can at least feel good about myself. So even if you're not in for you wrestlers listening, and I know when I wrestled, fifth at JV Monroe County, I was in good shape, better than I am now. So when you're in good shape, you like to take care of yourself. So whether you're in hot guy summer, or whether you're in wrestling summer, or whether you're just jumping in your pond looking unathletic like I do, I think you should go and get the Ultra Smooth Package. Get a Lawnmower 4.0, and if you listen to this show, you know the promo code. Promo code CENZO, CENZO. Use promo code CENZO for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And this new 4.0, somebody was just telling me they just got the 3.0. Look, I would upgrade, get another one. If you already have one, maybe get a second. If you don't have one, I don't know what you're doing. You can also get one of these weed whackers. These things are the best ever. Everybody has to have a nose and ear hair trimmer. You just a little quick, zoop, 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 and you're done. You look clean. You look presentable in a meeting. If you're single, you don't want somebody to see your nose and ear hair. That's gross. You might not even know you have it, but she does. So go to manscaped.com. Use promo code CENZO. 20% off. The Ultra Smooth Package has a crop exfoliator, a crop gel, and this little razor, that very cool shape. Go and get one. Just go and get one. Get it for your uncle, your brother, your cousin, your dad. Dad, get it for your son. You old guys who listen to the show, just get it for your son. Manscaped.com, promo code CENZO. And aside from that, that's pretty much today's show. I'm sorry CENZO wasn't on. I would have loved to have him on, but he's moving, and I know how much of an undertaking that is. Let alone, when I moved, it was from one house to a neighborhood 2 over. We moved like 15 minutes away. Moving from State College to Palo Alto, that's a move that I would want to undertake. So CENZO will be back. Hopefully by the next episode, he's back. I'm going to work around my schedule to see if we can make something happen when he's got some time in this crazy move. But thank you, as always, for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed on Apple, Spotify, the podcast is also in video form on YouTube and Rokfin. On Rokfin.com/Baschamania. There's articles I put out if there's things that I find of value, whether it's who's registered in a tournament, or sometimes there's articles about branding and marketing and business that I think can bring value to wrestlers and to the wrestling community, or sometimes I just give a random preview or my thoughts on something. So that's on Rokfin.com/Baschamania. So subscribe to the podcast. If you're not following me, I'm on Twitter at Justin J. Bash. CENZO's at CENZO Joseph. Give us both a follow. Let us know who you want on the show, what you like about the show, what you hate about the show. Actually, keep what you hate about the show to yourself. Just tell us what you like about the show. So that's episode 126 of the Baschamania podcast. We'll be back soon with 127. See ya.
And the beat goes on.